Welcome to the Crossview Podcast. We're back with another podcast, Aaron and I, and our guest. Please welcome Evan Ducati, right?
Yep. I'm proud to be on the show.
We're excited to have him.
Hey.
I've been a fan for a long time, so probably since the show started, so
Yeah, I believe
it's
it.
great to finally be on.
There we go. Good stuff. Aaron, what we chatting about today?
On the menu today, we have Sound of Freedom, because nobody's talking about that movie. And we all went and saw it. What was that, last weekend?
Yeah, last Friday.
Yeah. So we went and saw it, and we're going to talk about it, give a little reaction review type thing, and discuss what's going on there. And what was it? Oh, Joe Manchin.
Mm-hmm.
What is he, senator?
Senator from West Virginia?
Senator.
Yes.
West Virginia?
You're one of those about him. Senator from West Virginia, it seems like is going to be a very popular independent presidential candidate. And we have somebody who's young, so we're going to grill him on young people and see what he has to say about his generation.
Yeah.
You're still relatively young.
Relatively.
I mean, You're getting up there, but
Sure.
Sure.
I am the old one.
Yep.
He is my brother-in-law, by the way. We are related, but let's get it going.
Sure thing. So, like Aaron said, we went to go see Sound of Freedom on Friday. First, just going into it, what were your expectations? What had you heard about it? You saw the trailer. What were your thoughts going into it?
Good.
Let's see either one.
I'm starting off.
Yep.
So going into it, I didn't have much knowledge of it. All I knew about it was that, it's the QAnon movie. Those are the only types that like it. And, there's the right-wing pundits on Twitter who are like, blah, 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 this is a great movie. Best thing I've ever seen. So I'm like, okay. I figured it would be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was pretty impressed by it, especially given all the media coverage that led up to it.
Mm-hmm. So you QAnon, you're saying?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, man.
And notice Aaron had to say it correctly, QAnon instead of QAnon.
Come on.
Is that correct? I didn't even know that was correct.
Real?
Yeah, that's technically it. Yeah,
Okay.
QAnon. That's I don't know.
I don't understand what.
Is it an acronym?
I have no idea. So anyway,
this isn't about QAnon.
It's about that movie.
To me, the criticism of it being like a right-wing movie, whatever, is it's just a talking point that means nothing. So then, like, what is a movie like Taken? What is a movie like Coach Carter? What are all these different types of movies that something happens where these people need protecting or need saving or need help, and these people take it upon themselves to be the help and to assist in that area, and then they do. And this one, by the way, happens to be true. Like, the guy exists currently, Tim Ballard, and he's still doing this stuff. And the movie was based off of actually, it's crazy. I don't know if you heard about this. The real events the movie's based off of, in the movie, they actually don't actually talk about it like it happened, in the sense of in real life, it was actually double the amount of kids they saved in that mission.
On the island part?
Yeah, on the island part. Because in the movie they show around, like, I think they say it's like 40 or 50.
He saved more after the fact, I thought. I don't think it was the same mission.
No, in that mission, in real life, it was double the amount that it was in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In real life, there also was another mission going on that he was a part of, but that was in a different country.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, for people that don't know the subject matter of the movie, I don't know how you don't know now if you watch news or follow any type of media, social media. The movie is about, as Aaron said, Tim Ballard, who worked to save children who are victims of sex trafficking. Also was, arresting traffickers, people who were obviously...
That's how he started.
Right. That was his role in
for Homeland Defense.
Homeland
He
Security.
worked for the government for
whatever
12
it's
years.
called. Yeah.
And he started for a while by just putting away the bad guys and not actually saving the kids.
Right. Yeah.
And in the movie, you see how it happens where it really hit him like, what are we doing about these kids?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going on these missions to stop this evil, which we're getting the guys that are doing it, but there's still a second part to it, which the kids need saving.
Right.
And, it really kind of hit him where he felt like he was, because he worked for the government and what they were trying to do, it wasn't really in line with what he was hoping he could do, because he wanted to put away the bad guys and save the kids. They basically were only saying, you put away the bad guys and we can't go out and chase all these kids.
Right.
Which leads to him leaving DHS eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, he ends up, I won't spoil it. Yeah, so that is, again, it's a true story, so I guess you really can't spoil it. Hopefully, you probably already know the whole story, but I mean, I my reaction to the film itself, after watching it, literally walking out of the theater, I felt uncomfortable. Like, it just felt really uncomfortable, even from the beginning. Like, the first scene, you hear this little girl like singing and kind of playing a drum or whatever, and you just automatically, again, going in knowing the subject matter, you're automatically thinking like, oh, this little girl's been sex trafficked. Like, this girl's been taken advantage of and exploited. Yeah, and it's like you're just uncomfortable from the very first second. But that being said, like, at no point did the film feel like it was forced. It didn't feel like it wasn't even like over the top explicit. It was enough to understand like, hey, I should feel uncomfortable, and that, hey, this is a problem that we need to address. This is a real thing. It was very well done. It didn't feel like a cheap movie. It didn't have the budgets of Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible, which have been out and at the same time.
But it didn't seem cheap.
Didn't seem cheap at all. Obviously, Jim Caviezel is amazing. Everybody else that acted in it was great. The writing, the producing, everything was top notch. So you really can't even.
And it wasn't political.
It was just as political as The Blind Side, I would call it. Like, literally, if this is the conservative version of talking points or like, propaganda, The Blind Side is the liberal version of propaganda, where all black people are homeless and need some white family to save them. Man. And you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous to sit here and try to twist this into some political movie. Like, it really wasn't at all.
Now let's talk about this part of it.
Yeah.
So what we kind of started out with was the kind of mainstream mainstream media, liberal leaning media is trying to tout this as a political movie, mm-hmm. almost as if to say this stuff doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't. No, they're blowing out. What did the one guy say? This movie was for QAnon theorists and dads with a something problem.
Superhero something.
Superhero complex.
That's actually the first thing I saw about it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and it's like you're trying to sit here racking your brain, like, if this movie is about the problem of sex trafficking, especially child sex trafficking, which happens by the millions, which is just numbers that are factual.
Yeah.
Happens by the millions, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, which actually has more money involved than all four of the major sports organizations in America combined. Billions of dollars. You're gonna, like, those are just factual things. Like, you can just go look those up, and for all those mainstream liberal people, they love their government sources. Those are government sources giving those numbers.
Yeah.
And so this happens, but then so this movie that's about exposing it and about bringing it to the light and about bringing awareness to it, to help either specifically Tim Ballard's organization, you can help with that directly, or there's many other organizations like Exodus Road and
mm-hmm.
and others that also do this.
Yeah.
You can get involved and actually do stuff,
mm-hmm.
whether it's just donating or praying or even hands-on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a real thing. It's a real bad thing that happens. And then you have so many mainstream sources that are just like, this is way blown out of proportion. This is, right-wing propaganda. And, this is nonsense we don't need to worry about.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that...
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you exactly what they are saying, too, because I watched a little bit of CNN earlier. And, yeah.
Don't say
it. Yeah. I paused just so make sure I gave Aaron a chance to say something. And here's what they were saying. They were saying, like, they kept having to qualify, like, we know it's happening. It's real.
Bad.
It's a true story. It's happening. It's real. It's bad. But exactly. But one of their things was like, we should also note that most child sex victims, sex trafficked victims, are teenagers. As if that somehow, like,
does that make it better?
Make it better? Like,
Exactly.
oh, so like this, like what? About? Like what? Like, are you kidding me? They were like, but usually between 11 and 14. So, like what are you
how are you gonna show that stat, but not the annual numbers of how this has happened? Like,
it's ridiculous.
I saw something earlier that was like there's articles and stuff in all these different places, Rolling Stones, Forbes, Bloomberg, that have all these articles out against the movie.
Yeah. And
this one guy that wrote an article that was widespread and all that on Bloomberg. It was published on Bloomberg. It was a anti Sound of Freedom article, and saying how it's conspiracy theorists, right wing, all this stuff, and how that this issue is not that bad of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, the guy that wrote the article is a part, or was recently a part of, an organization that was literally it was about bringing awareness to it being okay for adult and child love.
Mm-hmm.
How like
the minor attracted person thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was MAPS, minor attracted persons.
Yeah.
And he was an advocate for that group to share that that even underage people want to share love how they want to share love, and we should promote that. That's what he was about.
Yeah.
So, of course, somebody that goes along with the bad side of what that movie's about is going to say that movie's horrible, because he actively takes part
in it.
He
benefits from
in that.
Yeah.
Yes, he benefits from it. And I mean, that's like, it's so wild. It's so wild, because this is just an example of how the majority of people, I think it's fair to say majority still, the majority of people out there who consume mainstream media like that,
mm-hmm.
they're not digging into, who are these people that are writing these articles? They're not digging into, like, is this movie really right-wing stuff, or is this just factual information that happens and this guy really did these things and saved these kids?
Right.
Is America really the largest consumer of sex trafficking? Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're just consuming mainstream stuff like that and not asking any good questions, then you're going to just go along with the narrative, like so many other things. But it's about this topic that's so big, so pervasive, and so wild that it's like, it's almost like it's so wild that people have this ignorance they want to hold on to, and they want it to just go over their head because they don't want to accept that it's reality.
They can't fathom it.
Exactly. And that's like, I don't know how you get a lot of people to get off of that mindset and to actually like know that this is a real thing. But I think something like this movie does help with that.
And I feel like, again, we often say most people really aren't on the extremes of Fox News and MSNBC, right? So I feel like
Fox is extreme.
I would say so.
I would actually agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I feel like most people would go to the movie and take it as fact, though. Like, I feel like they're not coming to the movie going to watch it and be like, oh, this is right-wing propaganda, or, oh, like, it's the complete opposite. So I don't feel like anybody's at the extremes. Most, everyday average Americans going to the movie to see this, I feel like aren't at those extremes. I feel like it's really just the media trying to convince the masses that it is. And it's done a good job, especially, obviously, media mostly being driven by liberal ideology.
Right.
Has been doing their best to try to convince people not to see it before they see it, because they want to call it right-wing propaganda. But I feel like if they got to the movie before they got brainwashed, they wouldn't feel that way. And I feel like the people that are the loudest that aren't in the media about this are the ones that got brainwashed by the media first and haven't actually seen the movie. And those are the people that are like, oh yeah, it's right wing, and there's in agreement because that's what they've heard, parroted to them. So
now here's the other side of this though. People who are already conservative, already like know all this stuff, already with all that, especially conservatives, I think, way more than left-leaning people. When conservatives are told that they can't do something, what do?
Oh, they do it 10
They go
times
and
full.
do it. So I think what we're seeing with the success of this movie is a lot of that too, where like every conservative felt like they were told this movie's horrible, this movie's garbage, it's not true, you can't go see it.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, I'm going to go see it now. Yeah. Even if they weren't planning on going to see it.
It's kind of like what we talked about with the tribalism thing in the last episode about like when people when they were called deplorables, they're like, calling us
I'll vote now.
Yeah, like we can be real deplorable now. Like, please.
Like, I mean, it's like Jason Aldean's song that just came out.
Yeah.
What was it? Try This in a Small Town.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that when the music video came out that it got censored off YouTube and it was major news outlets were telling you how horrible it is.
YouTube as well.
Yeah, I guess it got banned off YouTube.
Wow.
As soon as I heard that happened, it went number 1 on the charts. It's happened with I'm not like I can't even think of all of them off the top of my head, but it's actually happened a lot with a lot of conservative stuff. That's the Let's Go Brandon stuff. When that all went down, there was multiple Let's Go Brandon songs that were number 1 on charts, and that's just, I think that's also one reaction that happens.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep. Any thoughts, Young Buck?
Not that we haven't hit on already, to be honest.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. Yeah,
2040. Look out for this guy.
Yeah. 2040.
Yep.
Yeah, he's getting prepared.
We'll hit on that later. I'm
sure. Yeah. I will say, I think that it does, to affirm, again, to be fair, and so we're not just being, at least they can't claim we're just being conservative talking heads, but to be fair, we're gonna be that anyway, right?
No, but it's like, what's inherently conservative about all of our commentary about the movie? It comes back around.
Yeah, truth is truth, right?
But truth is a conservative value.
Unfortunately, it's become that. There was a time where it was an American value, but not anymore. I was going to say, I think the movie does support the conspiracy that lives within the QAnon realm, which is that there is this child sex trafficking ring within elites within the government. And so the idea that, maybe there is. I don't know. It's a conspiracy until it's proven true. I'll give you that. But like right now, it's a conspiracy. And so I'm not saying wrong or right or they're crazy or not. I'm just saying that the fact that there's a movie that highlights this, and it's not the first. The fact that this is getting like the hate that it is interesting at the time, because we've had movies like this before. I remember when it came out, Priceless, another movie that kind of highlighted child sex trafficking, I believe.
I heard that one.
So that was it was another Christian filmmaker that made that movie. Anyway, so like again, that didn't get that same type of hate that this one is, and so I don't really understand why. But maybe again, the QAnon thing and that kind of being a context that exists, maybe they just feel like they need to push back against this. But I mean, it obviously, this being true just supports the idea that they're making a case for, which is that there possibly could be elites in the government that are very much pouring into this child sex trafficking ring. And maybe it's not that extreme. Again, that's only a conspiracy until it's proven true. But there is actually proof that elites, Jeffrey Epstein, like, come on, like, this is the real thing. No, like, it's not.
Even if it's not to an extreme point,
right?
The press is still going to pick up on that right away.
Yep.
Like, QAnon, boom.
Yep.
It's that simple.
Just because it might not, because it might not be what maybe QAnon is saying,
right? But
it does still exist on some level,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we got Bill Clinton on that list of Epstein going how many times, right? Clinton's both of them, actually.
26 times.
Yeah. So come on, like, we can't say, like, those are facts. those are just facts. So it's not like, yeah, maybe QAnon's been a little bit extreme, but it's based in something. It truly is based on something.
The royal family, a couple of those guys.
That's a whole other thing too.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's whole.
That's not a topic that we're going into right now.
No, that's not the.
I'm not scared, but I'm not prepared for it.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, anyway, it's a good film. I truly encourage people to see it.
Yeah.
And I would say too, just like, not even necessarily that it's this movie, but the pure business move. I guess it's a business move, but like the way that they give you the availability to see the movie, I think is so cool.
Yeah.
Where you can go and get a free ticket if you want, just right now. Like you can go and look up Angel Studios, or I forget what the website is, but anybody can right now go to a link for the movie and get a free ticket.
Yeah.
And then they have a way at the end of the movie. They have a way if you watch all the way at the end, while Jim Caviezel is giving a real life message, not acting, giving a real life message at the end. They have a way where you can pay it forward. So the way that they're literally having millions of free tickets available for people is because millions of other people have paid it forward to pay for those tickets, and it just keeps snowballing.
Yep.
And I saw that this is one of the very rare times it happens in cinema where the second week after it was released, it actually did better than the first week.
Wow.
When was it released?
July 4th.
Okay.
So I think it's hit. It's got to be over now, but I believe it's hit 100 million.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
And it was like 11 million to do it, to make the movie.
Right.
So
somebody got some pay.
People get money.
It's a little bit.
And it's still going. It's still going.
In theaters,
it's still in theaters.
Yeah.
It's still in theaters and all because there's such a high demand for it still.
Yeah. And it says it's going to be available streaming services as well. But again, once it's on its theater run, which they said in another several weeks.
Yep.
So, I'll put the link in the description. We'll put the link in the description for you guys to maybe check out a free ticket if that's something you need, or an option to pay it forward.
To be honest with you, I got the free ticket.
Yeah.
So I know it works.
We did. Yeah. Yep.
I got two of them.
Three.
I got two of them because you, me, and your brother went, and I got two free ones. You can only get up to two free ones, on one account.
Okay.
So I got two free ones, and I paid for one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go check it out. It's the same studio. If you guys love The Chosen, it's the same studio that puts that out. So go check it out. It's definitely worth it.
And Tuttle Twins. I got to shout out Tuttle Twins.
Tuttle Twins is also on Angel Studios. Yeah. So good stuff. The movie definitely wants you to also act. Like, don't just take it in the content, but like once you know about this happening, you're almost left without an excuse to just like try to blindly move on with your life. Like, I felt weird leaving the theater, getting in my car, and going home and sleeping in my own bed. Like it just felt, it just felt like I have this luxurious life where I get in my car, go, to sleep, no bed at eye, I'm not scared, not worried. Like, that just felt so uncomfortable to do after watching that, knowing what's going on a constant basis. So.
I can't even imagine what that would be like, walking out of the theater and like I have kids at home.
Right.
And that's a whole nother element of it.
Yeah, Aaron, speak to that.
I didn't know you had kids.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I could imagine.
It's uncomfortable, and it brings an awareness. Stuff like this is good because proper preparation prevents poor performance.
There you
go. So if you, but if you're not even aware, it starts with awareness. If you're not even aware that this issue is so bad that, like, literally my wife could take the kids to the grocery store and, my son could be sitting in the cart and she turns around to grab something and somebody runs by and grabs him and runs away. Like, it can happen that fast.
Yeah.
It can happen so quick. But if you're not even aware that this issue is a thing, then you're not even going to have the thought process to consider it happening. Mm-hmm. So, it starts with awareness, and then you have to, like, think about how you would maybe implement some safety measures, implement how you would prevent something like this happening. Like how if it is one of you guys with in my case 2 kids, like if it's one of us that has both kids in a parking lot, like how are you dealing with that situation when you go to the car?
Right.
It's all this tough stuff. You have to know. You have to. And that's a good point. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, you went on that whole spiel about how it starts off with awareness, but there's a pretty good amount of people in this country who hardly even know like what the concept is.
That's true.
That's the problem.
That is very true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Like voters,
exactly. Which is why you hope that when a movie like this gets past the people that already know about this as an issue, and it gets to another group of people that are just like, oh, what's all this hubbub about this movie? Right. I guess I'll just go check it out. And then all of a sudden they find out about it.
And that goes back to the free ticket thing.
Yeah. Go get a free ticket. Go watch it.
It's like I didn't need it.
It's literally a free ticket. What's your excuse to not go?
Just go.
Yeah, none.
Don't feel bad for taking it.
No. Cool. All right, moving on. Joe Manchin is in the news now. Obviously, Ann and I have talked about before different candidates running for president. We've talked about the GOP candidates mostly. I think we did mention the fact that there are some other Democratic rivals, if you will, running against Joe Biden that the media won't cover.
No debates, though.
No debates.
Uncle Bernie.
So, yeah, Bernie's not running, so at least not yet. Anyway, Joe Manchin's name is now, well, before we even do that, Colonel West is also now running. He's running. Did you not know that?
No.
What? That is a thing.
Wait,
you really didn't know that?
Republican.
I think it's
no.
Right?
Cornel West is running. He was first. It was I think it was called something called the People's Party.
Wait, who?
The black dude that always
Alan West
with the crazy hair?
No, not him. That is the conservative guy. No, Colonel West, crazy hair. Always
I get Alan West.
Debated Candace Owens a few times on Fox News.
Oh,
that guy,
the crazy dude.
Kind of reminds you of Bernie, but like a black version of Bernie.
So the crazy dude.
Old crazy dude. Yeah, he kind of gives that vibe. So anyway, he was running for the People's Party, and everybody was like shocked, like, what is the People's Party? It was literally some obscure third party. And then he kind of got some pushback criticism of like, hey, if you're going to run, like you have a big enough name where you need to kind of partner that with a bigger platform. And so now I believe it's I don't know what the party is.
I didn't hear about it.
Anyway, so he's now running under a different third party. Still third party, still independent, I guess, technically. But anyway, he's running. He's taking a big chunk of Biden's moderate voter base. So that is going to be a big impact on the Democratic primary, if there is a primary, I guess. We'll see.
They're trying not to make it happen.
They're trying, but we'll see. But again, I guess it doesn't matter because it's not a Democratic primary. He's third party. So that wouldn't even matter. But I just wanted to throw that out there before we talk about Manchin, because Manchin's also going to throw a big wrench into Biden's.
So we might actually see some bigger, pretty legit names in independent.
Yeah.
Categories.
Yeah. I told my mom, because she's always like, maybe not in my lifetime, like she'll never get to see like the duopoly, the two-party system fall. Mm-hmm. But for the first time, I was like, no, you might see this in your lifetime, especially with the way things are looking right now.
I mean, when The Rock runs, it's all over.
You think he would run third party?
No, he's a Democrat.
So.
But anyway.
Go on.
Yeah. So, Joe Manchin, running. Well, no, not running yet. But there's been some rumors about him potentially running.
If he's running, then he's going to win.
That's what he said.
As he would say.
No.
So,
all right, so you're the Joe Manchin guy. Tell us about who is Joe Manchin?
So if you're not familiar, Joe Manchin is a Democrat senator from West Virginia, which is a very red state. I believe every county voted for Trump, or maybe except one or two. I don't know, but he's kind of known for being willing to cut against the Democrats when it comes to Biden's large spending bills like the CHIPS Act or the Inflation Reduction Act, which I think he did end up conceding that. But to my point, he's been kind of rumored over the past few years, which is when his name got really big, that he might become a Republican or an independent to help his electoral chances, and that's kind of where we are now.
Yeah, definitely a very moderate centrist type of Democrat. Probably would represent most of what the Democratic Party was, again, 15, 20 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah, and it's a pretty quick and extreme shift. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'm interested to see just a centrist in general, like how that on either side of, whatever. Because you even have the Lisa Murkowskis of the Republican Party, who's basically the Manchin of the Republican Party, right? And Murkowski actually came out and said, I would support Manchin. So, like, you have that weird dynamic there as well.
Another one who left the Democrat Party, who ran for president in 2020, was Tulsi Gabbard. We never talked about her, actually.
True.
It just popped in my head.
I forgot she existed.
Yeah, not that she's running or anything, but because the last episode we talked about people leaving their parties. I mean, I'm interested in seeing what Joe Manchin is about, seeing what this no-label party. Are they calling it a party?
I don't know, but at some point you're going to have some kind of policy prescription, because you can't just be like, oh, I'm in the middle, look at me, look how high and mighty I am, and then.
But that still has to mean something.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
What are you, ideological? Like, what's the point of this?
Are they labeling themselves no label? Like, does this work?
I mean, it's definitely a party. Like, it's definitely an organization.
Like,
they have money.
It. Yeah.
Right.
They have some money. They said what, like 70 mil they have behind them so far.
Yeah.
So they have some money to do some stuff.
I don't know if that comes from Manchin's people or what the deal is with that.
I think they had that money before they were even flirting with Manchin.
Okay.
I think it was just this idea that we don't want Biden or Trump.
Yeah.
And so, like, let's put money behind something and someone that's just going to be another option.
Yeah.
Regardless of, they didn't even know who it was going to be at the time. They just put their money behind it. So we'll see.
They should go after like a Rand Paul or something.
I don't.
Or Ron Paul. I mean, he's getting up there.
I don't feel like they. I don't feel like that'd be a good mix.
No,
I don't think so at all. Like, he's a third party guy, but not
too conservative.
Not centrist. Like, I don't feel like he's centrist.
Like, he's
on a lot
more
of
of a
ways.
libertarian type.
Yeah, like he has
at least on economics.
Right. Like, he has a very. I don't even know how to put it. Like, I don't know. It's just not.
Maybe I'm just saying that because I don't really want a centrist anyway.
Depends on. I guess it depends on policy, right? I mean,
and there's none yet. So.
Yeah.
Kanye.
Okay.
Just throw it in there.
So, I mean, eventually we are going to find out who's running for the Green Party. They usually get a little bit of buzz. We'll find out about Libertarian. We'll find out about
American Solidarity
Party, ASA.
Peter Sonsky, actually.
They announced that officially?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get him on the show, guys.
What's the one? I'm missing one. There's Green Party and another one.
There's a ton. I mean, it's infinite.
I'm talking about like the ones that actually show up on
the poll, on the actual,
the Constitution one.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that.
I'm assuming that's like right wing.
It is.
I mean, Constitution.
It's like, I know it is. It's the Constitution Party.
Well, yeah, no, it is. No, it is. That's what it's called. I
know a few people who voted for it.
I think there's only
Darrell Castle was who. Right?
Yes. Well, that was local, right? Local.
No, he was the
president. Oh, okay. So there are only, I believe, 4 or 5 parties, and that includes the Republican and Democrat Party, that I think are on the ballot in every single state and territory.
Which I think is Constitution and Green and Libertarian, and then
I don't even know if Constitution is one of them.
You might be right.
I think it's Libertarian, Green, the 2 major parties, and there might be one other one that I'm blanking on, but I don't think it's the Constitution Party. But
you might be right.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on potential third party candidates? Maybe if it's not Manchin, I don't think any of us are voting for Cornel West. But you know, what's the thoughts there? Like, what would it take for you to vote for a third party? Where are you at on that?
For me, it's what would it take for you to vote?
That's true. I was gonna, as soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, well,
yeah,
because you haven't voted yet.
I have not, and I
will be.
I don't intend to.
Yeah.
You don't intend to
for now.
No, explain that.
My stance is that we know the GOP is corrupt. We know that the DNC is corrupt, particularly, and I mean that's like straight up machine politics in the modern era that we haven't seen before.
Mhm.
And then third party, I guess like I would consider voting Libertarian, but it's like, are they really going to win anything?
Yeah.
Unless it's local, which is like, that's a whole different dynamic.
No, why not? Even if you know they're not going to win, why not vote for them anyway? I guess that's what I'm at. Like if you're going to be interested and involved in the sense of you're giving your time to it, which you do, why not vote anyway? I mean, it's literally no effort on your part.
I mean, you do have to drive to the polling place, but then there's the whole mail-in thing.
If you're okay with being around people and in-person voting,
that's a fun topic.
6 feet away in a mask.
But yeah, well, I'll get you to vote.
I won't vote for Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think pretty clear. I won't.
Put it this way, in the primary, I'm definitely not voting for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
In the general, if he's the candidate,
likely
I might.
Do you know what's funny that I just thought of? I saw, because of course you take all the polling with a grain of salt right now, but I saw when it was like Ramaswamy was at 4% and Pence was at 1%. I was well, that's rough.
Yeah, he's been ahead of Pence.
Yeah, he's solid over Pence. In a lot of polls, he's number 3 behind DeSantis and Trump. 5, 6-ish, and some other major polls that the media really,
Pence,
is comfortable.
I kind of feel like Pence is so low right now because he hasn't really done a whole lot.
You mean campaigning-wise or putting himself out there?
Like putting himself out there.
Even like funding.
But listen, Trump hasn't. What has Trump done?
But he's Trump.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, though. But that's my point. So Pence, his name, he was the vice president. Like Biden didn't have to do much. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just. I don't think there's nothing he can do to get himself above where he's at now. I just don't think it's possible.
The establishment, and a lot of people I'm around would call these people rhinos. Republican in name only.
Mm-hmm.
Those types of people, I feel like would be more likely to be Pence people than they would be Trump people.
But that's the problem for Pence's whole campaign is that he's looking for a very niche group of people that are like, January 6th was wrong and Pence did the right thing and he's my guy no matter what. I'm riding with him.
But are those people going to take DeSantis over Pence? Like, does Pence not even get over DeSantis?
They won't, but there's only like 30 of them in the entire country. That's the problem.
That is true. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Like I said, I'm not voting for Trump in the primary, and I might vote for him in the general because of who. It depends on who the third party is.
Interesting poll came out, and they polled favorability of the GOP candidates. Was it? I think Scott overwhelmingly was at the top.
Oh.
Yeah. Tim Scott was overwhelmingly at the top.
Right.
And this again,
was it like
in
South Carolina or something?
No. This was a national poll. But listen, this wasn't a poll of who are you going to vote for. This wasn't a poll of who are you supporting.
Favorability.
This was simply the favorability, and that was just like it was Scott. I think I can't remember who was second, but Ramaswamy was actually up there.
How'd they break that down? Like, explain that more than just the one word.
Well, you know how they do favorability polls for like Biden's favorability? Like his is like 30% or Trump's been at like 30%. Like it's just like, do you like the guy? That's simply really it.
Not are you going to vote for him?
Not are you going to vote for him? Do you support his policies?
Do you like what he's done?
Do you just like him as a person, I guess, And Scott was overwhelmingly. And so I say that to say that I think what would be, you talk about the 30 people on it, and obviously, if you take evangelicals, right, then you're talking about a little bit more than 30 people. There's a good chunk of them that are obviously the GOP base. But I think what's happening with Pence is, one, I think people are tired of him. For whatever reason, they're not tired of Trump. But anyway, a lot of those people are backing Scott instead of Pence. They're just like, well, Pence, you've had your time. Let's move on. He's a fresh face, and let's move on. Let's go do something else. And he's kind of like just a different Pence. He's just new, fresh, black.
The black guy said it.
So they're willing to kind of put their weight behind him instead of Pence, and so they're just done with him.
And worth noting, I think the GOP has like 3 black representatives between the Senate and the House, 3 or 4.
Yeah, something like that.
Scott's like the only senator.
Scott is the only senator.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really know, honestly.
Will Hurd is the other, and he's actually running for president. He's in Congress. So Will Hurd is one of them. I feel like all of them are running. No, they're not.
Running too?
Will Hurd's running, but Larry Elder, he's not obviously in Congress, but he's running. I think there's only 3.
Did Larry Elder get enough to be on the debate?
I don't think so. He hasn't been showing up on any of the polls at all.
I would actually want to see like Vivek against DeSantis and Trump in a debate.
Oh,
That's
100%.
what I'm interested in.
100%.
I kind of think he would crush both of them.
I think.
Yeah.
I think in a debate setting, I think that the toughest competitor for Vivek would be Larry Elder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he's probably not going to be there.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Tim Scott. I like him generally as a guy, but
you said he's like Pence, like he's just whatever.
Yeah. That's like the perfect way to explain it. He's just But what's crazy though is like, and we talked about this before. He just isn't in this particular campaign. He doesn't seem like he's coming across as his authentic self. Like his past campaigns, I think he's been himself. It's been fine, but he's like trying to like do this whole like Obama thing where like I'm a good speaker and I can command a room, and that's just not him.
Articulate.
Yeah, like and I'm trying to command a room, and like you said, he got up at the Tucker interview and like started standing up, like he's trying to do the politician thing. That's just not him. People don't want it. That's not him. Like stop. Yeah. Just be yourself, and I think he would do better. I'm surprised that he has people around him that's not like telling him this or like trying to push him to do that.
I think he came off as more authentic when he did the State of the Union response.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. Now here's the thing I'll say about Tim Scott, which is just purely my gut feeling. I'm not necessarily basing this off of what other people are saying or anything. Just my gut feeling with Tim Scott and why I'm kind of on him is I don't get the best feeling from him like he is really being genuinely himself. Instead, he's just doing whatever somebody else is telling him. That's the feeling I get with him. Is that somebody else is pulling his strings and he just goes along, doing whatever they say.
I don't get that.
Where like a Trump, DeSantis for the most part, I guess. Vivek, like you don't get that from those guys. They're in a lot of ways they're kind of doing their own thing. They're going to say what they want. They're not. Somebody else isn't going like, hey, say this, say this. Don't say this, don't say this.
All right. Yeah, okay. Well, I heard you say that, and what I heard was initially, like, the whole Biden situation where we don't actually believe Biden's the one running the country. So, but I think what you're saying is more so like he has somebody in his ear talking about how polished to be, or like do this and do that, not necessarily here's the policy, here's the ideology. Because I feel like Tim Scott's ideology is the same, like it's consistent. But I think what you're saying is that, but they're telling them when to stand up and when, you got to wear this color tie and to make you should look, political or patriotic, So I think that is definitely probably happening. But yeah, I still think he's giving his authentic ideology. I just think he's not being his authentic self.
And to be honest, some of this might be I just might not have looked into him enough because I haven't a whole lot, So maybe I just need to follow him more, and maybe I'd like him more.
I mean, he does the whole like MLK voice sometimes. I've never heard him do this before, and he's trying to like, sounds like he's trying to be like quotable like 50 years from now.
That's a good way to put it.
It's like that guy that got thrown out of whatever state house, and he was talking like Malcolm X.
Yes. Tennessee.
That comes right into my head.
Yeah, that was in Tennessee or Nashville. Yeah.
When he was like this clean cut, short hair, well spoken guy,
and all of a sudden has a fro.
Boom.
Yeah, fro and like
activist.
I gotta grow this out quick.
Wow. So, what was I gonna say? Not Tim Scott. So who you think we're gonna see in the first debate? Because usually the first debate has the most amount of people, right?
The top two, obviously.
Yeah, so obviously
Other
Trump,
than that.
DeSantis.
Well, Trump might not show up, though.
True.
Well,
Trump
then
said
he's
not
conceding the nomination to DeSantis. That's my hot take.
No.
That's an interesting take.
Because if you even like,
please, yes,
like,
go ahead.
You can look at the polling and stuff, but DeSantis has a lot of money behind him that I didn't really look into that before, but he's got like all kinds of money flowing in from whatever, if it's Florida or wherever, because he's got ties with businesses all over the place. You know.
Okay.
So he's got a lot of money.
I think it's worth noting.
Yeah, it's definitely worth noting.
I do know that there are some people that have went from big donors have went from Trump to DeSantis.
Oh yeah, and once we get into real primary season, I think DeSantis is going to be like the number one guy you see in ads and stuff.
I know. Recently, we've seen a lot of conservative guys kind of putting down DeSantis.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at the point still with all the guys campaigning wise where at this point, not to say that none of this stuff means nothing, not to say it means nothing, but at the same time, like we still have a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Like we still have there's a lot of time left for campaigning, and we haven't even gotten into debate season yet, and we're still a month away from that still
at least.
So there's a lot of ground. You know, these polling numbers and stuff. To me, quite honestly, I don't think they really mean a whole lot at this point.
True.
The only thing that I really pull from the polling numbers at this point that mean anything is that we're seeing that Vivek is gaining popularity because he went from not being known at all to now, because he's putting his face everywhere. He's going on all the shows,
all kinds of TV
He's doing
interviews.
all the podcast interviews. He's doing all this stuff. I did reach out to him, by the way. He didn't get back to me yet.
Not yet.
He's putting himself out there, so it's just that people are becoming aware of him.
Yeah,
but it's not like real yet to me. If that
it makes sense.
It makes sense
to a certain extent.
I mean, it's notable because you think about where Obama was in 2008. I mean, it was. If you looked at the polls, it was probably similar to the whole Trump DeSantis or even Trump Ramaswamy comparison in terms of numbers.
Biden RFK.
Well, I'm talking about something
stuff
that actually happened. Like, yeah, I'm talking about like Hillary was running and she was supposed to run away with it, and then Obama came out of nowhere and they're like, "Who's this guy with a weird name?" And then he just like took over, and DNC couldn't even literally like they, of course, in the corruption tried to like keep that from happening, but couldn't. Like it was like stop,
guys, chill,
like chill. But they like it was just so they couldn't stop it, and I feel like even with Trump, like he came in and everybody was like, "Oh, there's no way he has a shot. There's no way he has a shot." Polling again, no way he has a shot. Outside or whatever. And he took over. He couldn't.
All the late night shows are clowning him.
Then he called Rosie a fat pig on the debate stage,
and it was a wrap. It literally comes down from the elevator, calls Rosie and whatever on the debate stage, and it was a wrap from there. Literally. And I feel like Ramaswamy's in that place now. Like he's at that polling number. He's got that weird name. He was completely unknown several weeks ago.
Well-spoken.
He's outside of politics. Like he's just got the same story a little bit, where it's like this dude might recreate that. Like it might happen.
And also worth noting, he's been a lot more vocal about the administrative state than Trump or even DeSantis.
Yes, that's true.
DeSantis has said some stuff, but not like Ramaswamy has.
And most people are going to think Trump already blew his chance to, what does he say? Clean the swamp, drain the swamp.
I mean that is going to hurt him. I think. Well, I don't know if I'll say it that way, but like there are definitely people who are skeptical because you've had 4 years. Why didn't this happen? Yeah. Why is the FBI still around? You know, like what was up with that? Like So
and then the FBI director that he appointed is the one who's orchestrating all the
which provides for some voters some credibility, because it's like clearly this guy's not being, well, for them at least. Some people don't, they're just stupid enough but don't care regardless. But yeah, I don't know, this potential likely third indictment, we'll see if it has an impact. I'm not sure. I'll believe it when I see it, to be honest. I've told
people have decided.
Voting wise, I don't think it'll have an impact, but we'll see if he actually ends up convicted.
He won't.
We'll see. Teflon Don so far, but
he won't. Listen, if Hunter Biden can get away with what he's getting away with, Trump can. He's fine.
How can you say that though? If you know that there's a bias in the justice system, why wouldn't they take it there? Well, I guess at the end of the day, the jury has to decide. But
yeah, and there's a lot of, especially Supreme Court. There's a lot of conservative judges that were put in place.
That don't mean anything. They have nothing to do with this.
Yes, but
to me, that's his only legacy.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that for him. Every time go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say Roe, but that's because of the judges.
Well, right, but that's him. Trump gets credit for that.
Yeah. Nothing's going to happen.
Okay.
Nothing's going to happen to any of
Aaron's going to stand on that.
Nothing's going to happen to Trump. Nothing's going to happen to Biden. Nothing's going to happen to Hunter. None of it's going to mean anything.
Do we hope so? Hold on. Let me ask you this. Well, Evan, you go first, and then we're going to talk.
A Hunter take?
No, well, just on the whether we think Trump will get indicted or convicted.
If he gets convicted, I'm actually interested to see who his voters will go to, or if they show up at all. Mm-hmm. Because if that's a whole voting block that you're losing, then that's a guaranteed win for Biden, or whoever they go with, whether it's Newsom or even Marianne.
Unfortunately,
you know what? That might be true.
Unfortunately, I do think that
I'm leaning towards they just don't show up at all,
and I hate that's probably true.
Mm-hmm. Like the Georgia Senate election in 2020, it'll be the same thing on a national level.
Like I don't get the mindset of, if you're all for party platform, you're all about that, right? Mm-hmm. You're all for the party platform,
but they're not.
You hate Trump. You hate the guy that your guy is going against, and you don't really like your guy, but he is on your party. Mm-hmm. So because you don't really like your guy, you're just not going to go vote, so that it's another vote against the guy you hate. I don't get that. Like, why would you still not like all the hardcore Trumpers? If Trump is gone, which he's not going to be, but if he goes away and he can't run, why would you not go for like a DeSantis or the next guy?
I'll tell you why, and I know this definitively.
A lot of them only follow politics because of Trump. That's the reality.
But they also, those same people, believe that DeSantis is Biden. Those people that are so Trump loyalists,
the MAGAs.
Yeah.
The people that are just Trump loyalists. There's no distinction between DeSantis and Biden, or Ramaswamy and Biden. Like, there's no distinction for them. It's Trump or nothing, because it's establishment or not establishment for them. Like, they don't care.
Even though Trump is establishment at this point,
right?
Like, let's be real.
I don't know if this is a good equivalent, but do you think there was a lot of Bernie people that when Bernie got kicked out or didn't win, that they didn't end up voting?
Yeah.
For Hillary?
There was a chunk.
Yeah,
because I know Bernie brought out a lot of like newer people that hadn't ever been involved in politics and stuff.
Yeah,
the young people.
I do think the numbers are different.
You were one of them.
I voted for him in the primary. Yeah. Did not support Hillary in the general. Who did I vote for that? Evan McMullin.
Fate Spotted Eagle.
Yeah.
Evan McMullin. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know.
Which is wild that you would vote for Bernie and then vote for Evan.
And then Evan McMullin.
That is a quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's like months.
But it's funny because it's like I didn't even when I was so like I wasn't even so behind Bernie. It was just like it was so much, huh? It was new, but it was also like I really cannot stand Hillary. Like no, come on. Like it was just so ridiculous to me that she was like the propped up as the like this is
the pantsuit.
Yeah, no, the pantsuits wasn't doing it. So it was just like it was almost kicking back at the Democratic Party, really. And even and I told you before, even as I was in line, it was a lot of people felt that way. It was like it wasn't even like, oh yeah, we're just so in love with Bernie. It was just like we're so tired of the Democratic Party thinking they can just, they don't have to earn our vote, and that just take advantage of us. Like they felt like they were just behind something that was like, no, screw you.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. Well, see, I did have a question. I totally forgot what it was, but Evan, any last thoughts?
Yeah.
Not particular. I mean, I was a leftist myself at some point. Like that kind of made me think of that. But that was like, I kind of followed like the DNC primary debates in 2019, 2020, and this is when I was like 14, so I was kind of just getting into it. And then I was a big fan of like Young Turks, stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man, I was deep into it.
Wow.
I was watching Cenk and Anna like every day.
Oh wow.
And I started swinging back the other way once all the lockdowns and stuff started, and then here I am now, QAnon.
Yeah.
To put it,
I wouldn't even know how to look that up.
Look what up?
QAnon.
What do you mean? Like to be a part of it? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do they have like actual meetings and stuff?
Yeah, they have chapters.
No idea. I don't know.
It's like the new KKK. This video is definitely demonetized. Everything we talked about.
We're done.
Anyway.
Sorry, Hillary.
Yeah. So. Yeah, let's get into some church stuff. Let's go.
Great transition.
We'll make this quick.
Go ahead, Aaron.
So I have some thoughts that I think some other people will be interested. You're obviously a young guy, 17, well-spoken.
Oh, really?
You are, well, people might not know this already, but you are a Christian, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
Are you filled with the Holy Spirit? You believe Jesus Christ of Nazareth?
Yeah, man.
What about to baptize him?
Resurrected?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Bodily?
I mean, it's documented.
3 days later? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm down on that whole thing.
After he was crucified on the cross?
Indeed.
Okay.
Calvinist.
So he's saved.
Bro.
So you're all right. I don't know how many listeners are aware of this, but we're fully aware of all the crazy stuff that goes. We just got done Pride Month, June and everything. What happens? Obviously, you can only go by your example of the school you go to.
Oh yeah,
but
I had quite the public school experience. So.
What happens in your experience in a public school setting during Pride Month?
Well, I know my junior year they would do like some kind of gay celebrity of the day thing on the morning announcements, or LBG, whatever
LGBT.
the acronym is now.
UIA,
yeah, it was
plus.
whatever, and then there's I mean, even outside of Pride Month, there's like
okay.
outside of June, there's all kinds of like rainbow banners and stuff. I think I showed you at one point.
You sent me pictures all throughout the month. Yeah.
The wheel of privilege. That's a whole nother thing.
I'm learning a lot today, bro. I got so many questions.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
In the front display, it's all LGBT.
Yeah,
same thing.
Get it correct.
My bad.
We're about to get fined and sent to jail.
Yeah.
As far as like the indoctrination aspect, like learning it in class, that wasn't really a thing for me. I've always thought that
was it
like
not a thing for
thing.
you, or was it not because it didn't affect you because you weren't aware of it, or just it wasn't really pushed?
I just didn't really see a lot of it, like
from teachers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, we fill out a survey at the beginning of every year. It'll be like, so what is your full name? What would you like to be called? And then, of course, over the last few years, there's been a pronoun section, which is an interesting one. I'm he, him, myself, though.
I'm not giving my pronouns. My pronouns are God-given.
Interesting.
Yeah. God/given.
Oh, that's a t-shirt. Oh, all right. That'll be on TrueStrengthApparel.com soon.
Yeah, we have merch, by the way.
We do have merch.
TrueStrengthApparel.com.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You got your logos in the shot. You're good.
I know. I designed the shirt for that reason.
Yeah.
Okay. I did, actually.
Oh.
You had that kind of foresight?
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Love it.
So, all right. In your school setting, it's crazy like that. You made a comment. I talked over you, but you made a comment that you think that's what was more elementary.
The indoctrination in the sense of, there's the books that they're reading. There's, what is it, like the gender unicorn?
Queer theory.
Yeah, queer theory.
Unicorn. Yeah.
Even like to get into race, like CRT and stuff. I've always thought of that as more of like an elementary thing, because it's like, start them early.
Yeah.
So, back when you were that age, do you remember all that? Did any of that stuff?
Nope.
I feel like that was
so it's a relatively like last only couple years thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like regular leftism, that's been a thing at college campuses for decades and decades now. But
that's fair. That's fair.
But I feel like that's how all the bad ideas start in the universities.
That's pretty true. I feel like Trump's presidency expedited that, or like, not that he had anything. Well, not that he was supporting, obviously, but like, it was almost like in response to what the leftists felt like. You know, they felt like he was racist. They felt like he was homophobic. All the things. So if he's all those things and he's so brash about it, we need to be just as, explicit and brash and loud. That's definitely what was happening. Like the CRT thing, like that wasn't coming up until Trump came in. I was like, oh, we got to teach history, but like
the government's not behind us, though.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
We don't have any institutional power.
Right.
Which is wild.
That's why, because people always say, oh, this upcoming election is the most consequential in our lifetime. And
each one always is.
No.
That's how
I think it's going to be 2016 for a long time.
Yeah.
I
think history books will definitely agree with that. Like, yes, for sure.
Kind of a paradigm shift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'll forever
bring out the literary terms.
It's when you hire a reality TV star. You voted in a reality TV star to be your president.
How could you not vote for such a wonderful candidate in Hillary Clinton?
Yeah. Show. Another Hillary comment.
Again?
Going down
beat up quick. Today.
That wasn't even like provoked or anything.
What's the wheel of privilege?
So
you're still on.
I hope I still have the photo of it in my phone. If not, then Josh can take a photo of it next year because he's going back. If it's still there.
Yeah.
But it's like it'll have like ethnicity. So it's a wheel, obviously. Circle, that type of thing. So if we're
he took geometry, folks.
Yeah, man. So if we're working outward, it'll be like skin color, and you have the most privilege if you're white, and then it's like Latino, black.
It goes closer to the target.
Closer to the target is the more marginalized you are.
Yep.
So like status, citizen, green card holder, undocumented immigrant. I swear, dude.
No way,
bro. You think I'm crazy with
No, I don't. I just like what that? Oh wow! Oh my god! I need pictures.
So how did that make you feel as a straight white male?
Jeez.
Christian.
I would say like I feel targeted, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm set.
Because if it did bother you, then you're a victim, which is dumb to have the victim mentality. So that's good. Any other young people listening, watching, be like that. Be like Evan's mentality.
Screw it.
Well, it's
not a screw it, but it's one awareness of the actual issues and actually like what is going on around you. Like you're aware, wheel of privilege.
Queer icons. That's what I was thinking of too.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
that's another
like
one.
You're aware that when you walk into a school, you shouldn't be, bombarded with a wheel of privilege and with a pronoun rainbow and with queer icons and every morning announcement has a new gay celebrity. Like, what does any of that have to do with school?
Now, it shouldn't be there, but I also want to highlight what I do think most credit should be attributed to in you is that it's likely your faith that says I'm gonna, I don't know, be blind to some of the things, like be aware, but not let it impact you. Like I'm still walking my walk. Like it's not going to impact me to where I'm like now going to protest or like throw this whole rant or riot, whatever. I'm not burning down schools because there's queer icons and stuff. But it's like, hey, I know who I am in Christ, and like this is how I'm walking, and like these things aren't going to faze me and affect how I'm thinking or what I'm doing. So I think that's
a good point.
Yeah. I think that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
props to you. I didn't have to do any of that stuff.
Well,
I went to a Christian school.
Kind of figured.
So. Well, that too. That definitely helps.
I mean,
I was homeschooled and went to a Christian school. So.
Not that Christian schools these days are totally
That is
yeah, yep, that's
getting wild.
That's a fact.
That is true. I mean, you know, with all the rainbow indoctrination, there is a positive that comes with people and churches being, outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
The positive is that in America, in a lot of places, there's churches on, 2 churches on every corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the ones not to go to are the ones that have a rainbow flag out front. It makes your job simpler if you want to check out a church.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Anyway,
cool. Hey, well, that's good stuff. Appreciate you, Evan, having you on.
Oh, look, Matt, it was a true privilege.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That was good.
All right, wrapping it up.
Yep.
Cool.
See you.
Peace.